where you get to play as a National Geographic cameraman, recording and documenting in full HD the extremely rare crotches of random jacked perverts on the street. At which point we unlock.
What do you even get? Do you get paid to do this? Can I have that stuff? It's not too bad, really. He's just minding his business. He's a beautiful butterfly. All right, today we're reacting to Maxer playing Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, which sounds like someone shuffled 3 franchises together and hit commit. You've got pirates, you've got Yakuza drama, you've got tropical side quests, and because it's Maxer, I'm expecting the editing to hit me like a flashbang every 6 seconds. This is the kind of game that already feels unhinged on its own, and then you hand it to someone who thrives on sensory overload. So, before all the epileptics have a seizure, make sure you hit that like and subscribe to the universe, and let's begin.
Hello everybody,
Hi, Max.
Makes Good videos here. I promise this time. Let me ask you a personal question. What do you think a video game is? Usually, a video game is something
Like
that takes
Mario.
place in a setting and has internal logic which specifies where things are based on the things around them. That when you do actions, these things called events will happen that will be related to other events.
Yes.
This is known in game design as the principle of object permanence. When you fail to see this principle used, you will complain. You will call the game a nonsensical slop trough or other such true insults, for you are like a babe, crying out for succor in the night. But for those of us with refined tastes in our video entertainment, growing up is learning to ascend beyond the need for anything to make actual sense. Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, Ryuga Gotoku, Jesus Christ, even the title can't figure out what this is a game that...
It doesn't feel like it ends. It is a very long Yakuza title. I'm not sure if any of the other titles in the franchise are that long, but this one just hits a little different with its length. That came out really wrong. Don't judge me. It's just, it feels like a long title. It really does.
In Hawaii, Ryuga Gotoku, Jesus Christ, even the title can't figure out what this is a game that feels like it was made in an alternate dimension, where geography, tone, time, culture, language, relative lethality, and graphical fidelity itself all exist independently of each other and also themselves. To the extent that even the most basic of inquiries, such as, why am I currently watching a jab of a chopped unk washing himself in the shower for 90 minutes? Is a question that I am incapable of answering at this time, and where the only thing preventing a mechanic from being added to this game is whether or not a random developer thinks it is kind of funny. So on the off chance that you are hoping to get any actual information about this game, I have some very bad news for you. Which of course I will be delivering as soon as I am done playing baseball.
Yep, this is the game.
So I can unlock the Angry Birds soundtrack.
No. You're kidding, right? There's no way. Do you actually? No. I don't want to believe it. But it makes sense. It's Yakuza. Look, if you wanted to convince me to purchase a game, I'm already convinced. Because, what? It already looks like an acid trip. And, you know, I feel like everybody deserves, you know, to experience the feeling of one, but not to be in one, you know what I mean? It's a good brain break from everything, actually.
So I can unlock the Angry Birds soundtrack. That is not a fucking joke. This game technically takes place in Hawaii, in the same way that it is technically made by human beings. This is coincidentally the actual state that I was born and raised in, and despite the seemingly accurate modeling of the literal island that I lived on for 17 years, playing Pirate Yakuza has never made me feel further away from my homeland. It is very disturbing in a way that I cannot describe to walk through a Garry's Mod graphical rendering that is kind of like a building you have been in before, only to walk out onto the beachfront that you have kind of been to before, and watch as the hotel that you have kind of seen before is bombarded by a crew of period-accurate Caribbean pirates from the 17th century. At which point, I jumped onto my 17th century pirate ship, fired my pink lasers at them, and boarded with my crew comprised of 20 homeless dudes, random animals, and every furry I could find a discount for on the slave trade.
What were the devs on? What? Huh? Really? That's a lot. Like a lot. I thought it was goofy for like the first 5 minutes. Like I saw like the beginning of the game where you're on an island and you're fighting someone. I didn't think it was going to get a lot more goofy. And I should have, but it never crossed my mind to anticipate even more goofy. Is there even a plot? Or is this game like full of mini games? And it's like a mini game of everything. You get to play Yakuza mini games. It feels like it, at least. But if I word it that way, well, then technically everything is a mini game. Never mind.
Homeless dudes, random animals, and every furry I could find a discount for on the slave trade. Chicken Man is my strongest soldier, and I purchased him after doing 3 hours of gambling and hallucination karaoke. Yakuza is just a special fucking game.
I love you. You love me. Am I gonna get struck?
The problems with this game, or the solutions, depending on how Japanese you are, begin from the very start of the game, where we find ourselves in the shoes of Goro Majima, a canonically 60-year-old man primarily known for ambushing his senpai in random manhole covers and trash cans, recovering from his midlife crisis by proceeding to steal an entire pirate ship and becoming a better father figure to a child than his actual dad. At which point, Majima decided to introduce the child to the concept of a brothel and gambling because I said a better father figure.
Yes.
Not a good one. In order to facilitate our reckless marauding of international...
The bar's pretty low if you just have to be the better one, and the better one is just gambling. What happened? What happened to his real father? Also, Max, why did you put a Labubu in the video? Why? I mean, that's a pretty accurate naming. White girl crack? Mm-hmm. Not me, though. What do you mean? I don't have one? I don't like them. This doesn't apply to me. I'm sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry. I'm pretty lucky. I could never. Lububus are just beanie babies. But uglier, in my opinion. Sorry.
Not a good one. In order to facilitate our reckless marauding of international Labubu sales, we have to first earn ourselves a lot of money and hire a lot of homeless guys.
No,
much like real life, Pirate Yakuza revolves almost entirely around the need to make more money, mainly by upgrading our ship with a myriad of customizable options, most of which are fundamentally insane. So to actually make our money, we need to beat up a lot of people for their $12,000 pocket watches and do a lot of gambling.
Win blackjack.
Never mind, I hate this fucking game and I'm going to kill myself. This is all done within the game's 2 primary cities, beginning with the pirate haven of Madlantis, a seedy, chaotic, and leisurely location where every single woman character model is a prostitute, and the average time between street fights stretches into the 10-second mark. This is the part of the game where it becomes evident that there is literally no plan for what the gameplay should actually be. Bouncing seemingly at random between baseball with cannons, blackjack with hookers, claw machines with... Samoa Joe, he's also the king of the Pirate Kingdom, as well as an entire naval coliseum featuring high-stakes, high-sea battles with crews of sumo wrestlers, escaped convicts, the BDSM squad, and just actual robots. But if I were to try and describe the main mechanical madness of Madlantis, I would tell you that this game is primarily supposed to be a beat-em-up, not that you would figure that out for yourself. Frequently pitting the player against absolute industrial quantities of random goons inside the world's least insane Waffle House. And to do so, we have to properly utilize the combos and finishers spread between 2 distinct fighting styles. As a mad dog, we engage in a series of fast movements, knife attacks, and the ability to...
I'm sorry, like funny, and I can't help but read it aloud, even though it makes me sound like I'm trying to be offensive. I promise. It's just, I can't help it.
A mad dog. We engage in a series of fast movements, knife attacks, and the ability to clone myself because, this game does not have enough units on screen, and as a hot dog, and as a sea dog, we watch as the creators of this game just kind of give up on having themes, allowing us to access a powerful arsenal of swords, guns, grapple hooks, and the malevolent influence of 4 dark gods, notably including the dark god of killing everyone and ripping their skin off, as well as the dark god of summoning a tornado and instantly kidnapping the entire screen. But for those who are properly concerned about violence in movies and sex.
So is the main is the main character of Yakuza like genuinely just a deity at this point? With every video, he seems to become less and less like a typical guy. You know what I mean? What is he anymore? I'm just genuinely trying to figure it out. Because at this point, he's ascended past human qualities. I don't think I would categorize that as a human anymore.
But for those who are properly concerned about violence in movies and sex on TV, you will be pleased to know that our protagonist does not canonically kill anyone in this game, just giving them horrific injuries and lifelong disabilities that definitely make them wish he did. So no matter how gratuitously violent everything on screen seems to be, just know that Majima is definitely an upstanding, moral paragon whose only goal in life is to provide secure employment for the world's extant clown population. Gain full opportunities on the SS Hello Kitty Island adventure include such tasks as powering the rocket engines that we use to drift around enemies, manning the cannons, of which this game story apparently is, as well as participating in a bout of hilarious high-sea brawls, ranging from small scurvy scuffles all the way up to battling and boarding the entire population of an actual carnival cruise. Needless to say, we are going to need a lot of hands on this deck. Which of course brings our ship to the second major location of this game, where we will focus on recruiting our mighty crew in the island metropolis of Honolulu, featuring such recognizable travel destinations as—
I can't imagine what it feels like to be a native to Hawaii and play this game just to see that it's been turned into a complete acid trip. And there are things that look familiar and then they're not, you know? It's gotta be like really weird at some point, right? Walk around a place you know, but actually it's not the same.
Metropolis of Honolulu, featuring such recognizable travel destinations as the Waikiki Beachfront, the Ala Moana Shopping Center, but they can't actually call it that, so it's named the Anaconda Shopping Center, even though there are no snakes in the state, and the streets where I used to run into moving vehicles for insurance fraud. Also, there's my favorite restaurant, the Gamer Sup store, found in Description Street of the YouTube video neighborhood, where they sell wonderful energy drinks with code Maxor for 40 cents per serving. It is the only affordable drink in the entirety of this goddamn city. Now, while this virtual rendition is surprisingly accurate to the real Hawaii, I do have to point out that the amount of random street fights is slightly exaggerated from real life, as in reality, warfare would be considered kapu around this point due to the provenance of the fertility god Lono, whereas the amount of random homeless people that you will encounter on the street is not exaggerated nearly enough. But what really broke my immersion and destroyed my entire experience was the idea that I could walk into any restaurant and not actually buy any rice. Fun fact, one time they opened a Buffalo Wild Wings in Ala Moana, and they received literally non-stop complaints about the menu until they finally gave in and started serving the public rice. Much, of course, like the real state of Hawaii.
There's no way! Wait! They complained so much about the lack of rice, they were forced to provide— What? I need to look at that picture a bit. Hold on. There's no way.
And started—
Yes, we have rice, big wave. Oh my god! It really is! Oh my god! That's insane. That's wild. Okay.
Serving the public rice.
It's beautiful.
Much, of course, like the real state of Hawaii, Majima's crew is extremely diverse and made of many backgrounds, because Hawaiians are very tolerant of all races and nationalities, so long as that nationality is not Micronesian. And if you get a Hawaiian to actually say anything about Micronesia, they will sound like the Mustache Man. So naturally, in order to secure a variety of people, and also maybe non-people, we have to do an extreme variety of completely disparate activities, taking up the vast majority of my entire playthrough. Sometimes recruiting people is easy, such as with the random homeless guy that I found on the street and recruited by giving him a single beer. Or the swimsuit model who seemingly stands around waiting for a single person to score 100 in darts, while others are unnaturally complicated and absolutely not worth doing unless it is for the bit. Like the quest where you can recruit the famous Japanese streamer Kason, notable for having videos that I cannot show you, by walking around town and waving at people to make friends on the social media site Aloha links for the next hour of your stupid chud life. Not beating anyone up, not gambling my life savings away, just fucking waving at people on the street a minimum of 90 times. As you can probably tell by this point, there are many places in Waikiki to spend our time and money, and most of them are fun. Like attending the entire vocational school where
See, he says most of them are fun, but I see that claw machine, and I've maybe won like 2 things from a claw machine, okay? These are wildly rigged. And from the first clip of the claw machine, they also seem kind of realistic. I don't know if I would have fun in the claw machines, personally. I'm really sad that I've only won like 2 little things. But I'm happy it was Fuawa Mokoko. Although it's not the big ones that I wanted, unfortunately. I'm really bad at them.
You can probably tell by this point, there are many places in Waikiki to spend our time and money, and most of them are fun. Like attending the entire vocational school where Majima apparently attempts his fucking HVAC certification or something by entering into a series of difficult tests on such useful subjects as fashionista, alcohol expertise, Japanese underworld studies, and Sega proficiency, while other activities like Mahjong require the player to memorize a phone book and hallucinate themselves into actually winning, because I'm convinced that Mahjong is a made-up game designed to make white people commit suicide. But if Mahjong and vocational school aren't your style of unusual gameplay mechanics, there is no need to worry. For Pirate Yakuza has a unique career opportunity where you get to play as a National Geographic cameraman, recording and documenting in full HD the extremely rare crotches of random jacked perverts on the street. At which point we unlock.
What do you even get? Do you get paid to do this? Can I have that stuff? It's not too bad, really. He's just minding his business. He's a beautiful butterfly. Let him be a beautiful butterfly. He was a fairy, okay?
Random jack perverts on the street. At which point we unlock enough activity points to buy the perverts for my ship and place them into close proximity to the female cast. Needless to say, there are quite a few things to do in this game, and absolutely none of them come even close to the sheer joy and rapture that I felt when I first played Crazy Delivery, did 10 backflips, destroyed every car in a 2-mile radius, and delivered to someone a $2,000 pizza. It's not delivery, it's vehicular manslaughter. However, the most impactful thing that we can do as a captain is not merely hiring a crew of employees, but instead bonding with them and forming friendships that I will soon come to regret. Because the real treasure on this pirate adventure is the friendships that we have made along the way. To this end, Pirate Yakuza has a great variety of interesting side quests to directly engage with members of our crew, usually in the most mentally deranged way possible, such as in the quest where I taught a bronze statue performer to tolerate getting beat up by children and encouraging others to do the same, or the side quest where Majima assists the traveling circus on their mission to abuse exotic animals. Most of the time, these are pretty short, you know. You see a man, he is collecting trash, you collect trash, and as a result, you get trash. And other times, they are incredibly long, varied, and extremely impactful to the morale of my ship in a way that mere description is not able to properly convey. But in the interests of making this video kind of funny, I will do my best to recall the bizarre story of Masaru the Chop Dunk, who has recently come into a bout of depression because he is obsessed with Japanese high society women. So of course the natural response to such a conundrum is to track down and engage in 6 separate stalking quests where Majima attempts to recruit all of the women who, contrary to popular belief, are different to a bizarrely filmed live-action Japanese rendition of The Bachelor, where every single woman is after the heart of the most chopped unk you have ever seen in your entire life. Along the way, Majima will learn that women are not merely pretty objects to yearn from the internet, like you may assume, but entire human beings with interests and actual sentient emotion. He will go go-karting with them. He will go cosplaying with them. He will do a live stream with them, creating a mass casualty event for the world's largest population of online simps. He will buy 8 copies of their adult magazines and then give those magazines to his shipmates, and he will have an intimate conversation.
I mean, you don't need all 10 copies to yourself, right? One for the collection and one for yourself, the rest for the crew. I think that makes sense. I wouldn't be taking all 10 for myself. That's a little selfish, okay? Just a little. A lot, actually.
Magazines and then give those magazines to his shipmates, and he will have an intimate conversation with them about self-acceptance regarding eroticism.
Sexy stuff.
Okay, you do you.
And convincing them to demystify sex work. Also, one of them just fucking kills people using an actual sniper rifle. After which point, we are treated to a genuine, and this is not a bit, 30 minutes of watching our chopped unk fumble every single bag in increasingly insane and unhinged ways. And if something like this ever happened to me, you would not see any more videos after this one.
That's messed up.
The point I am trying to get across here is that Pirate Yakuza needs to be seen in order to be believed. If I didn't have visual proof of the things in this video, you would not believe that any of this was real, let alone being inside of the exact same game.
I genuinely would have thought that you like put all of these little things into the video. This is a really chaotic game with some wild storylines. And you know what? I think it's perfect for me. I don't need to be convinced any further to purchase a game.
You would not believe that any of this was real, let alone being inside of the exact same game. But after you found your crew of maniacs, after you've seen them fight on the battlefield, after you built and customized the perfect ship, and seen all of these elements finally click together, there is no other game that will have this much chaos make so much sense in retrospect. Is it weird?
It's
yes.
always gonna make sense.
Is it good? Definitely yes. You need to experience a Yakuza game at least once in your lifetime, and that is non-negotiable. Okay, maybe it is a little negotiable. Thank you to all the people supporting me on my Patreon. I am going to try to make the next video kind of short, and I hope that all of you have a very nice day pirating this video game.
Thank you, Max. You sweetheart. We're edited by literally just one guy. I know. Thank you, Maxer! I love myself a Maxel video. Thank you for tuning in to another Neko Reacts. Out of all of the Yakuza games, which one was your first? And which one was your favorite? Let me know in the comments below. Until then, please leave a like and subscribe to the universe, and I'll see you in the next one. Matanya! Bye bye!